dork.
Your mom's a dork.
My mom is a dork, but I love her. And we're live on the internet. Yeah! Let me tweet. Ba, 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 ba. Tonight, we are playing 13 Days, the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was given to us by UltraPro. Good job, Tiff. It was given to us by UltraPro to play online, and it's a 2-player game about the Cuban Missile Crisis, hence the name. It's pretty fitting. So, it's essentially like Twilight Struggle, but significantly more consumable. It's 45 minutes instead of, 3 hours. So there's that. And I'm, live on, as my computer is, it's crazy.
Well,
okay.
And it's also card-driven. Area control.
Yes. Thank you. I was doing internet stuff. This is why we have 2 of us here.
It's like having 2 keys so that, one person can't turn both keys. But it's knowledge instead of nuclear war.
You're saying so neither of us can, say things? I'm really confused.
No,
with
it's
where
so,
you're going
what we say is, backed up by another person,
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. So, anyway, so we've already kind of done partial setup. We haven't finished it yet. So there's there's 2 books in the game, and the rule book seems kind of daunting, but actually, I would say more than half of it is actually, a full playthrough that is written out, which is helpful. And then the second book is all, it's historical facts about the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Steve discovered there are actual, historical context and descriptions of what all the cards are in the game. Because the cards all relate to things that actually happened in the Cuban Missile Crisis. And, yeah, so you can learn, if you are interested in the history of this game and stuff, you can learn all about it in this awesome book. So there you go.
Yeah, I was just saying before we started streaming that a lot of games will put some of that information in, a one-sentence flavor text, but that has, a paragraph's worth. So some of these things that are pretty interesting are in the book about the cards.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of detail and context.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. So we are going to do setup today. So to set the game up, one player is going to play as the USSR, one player is going to play as the USA. I'm just going to play as USA because my agenda thing's on this side, and Steve's a communist. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you do.
So then you have a yellow marker, which is the prestige marker, which goes in the center, and then you have a whole bunch of blue markers, which are the military, you have a bunch of markers in your player color, which are for the nuclear track, and then you have some awesome flags in your country's color. So yeah. So for setup, what you're going to do is, it has a great setup description in the book with, visuals if you care, but you're going to put 1 blue cube on Turkey, 1 on Italy, and then you're going to put 1 USSR cube on Berlin and 1 on Cuba. And then Cuba military. Cuba, it's important to know, it has 2 zones. One's military and one is political, and it is, linked with the Atlantic one, which I'm pointing, and camera's not on it. So Cuba military, Cuba political, yeah. So let's move it this way so the horrible.
And what do these cubes represent again?
So these cubes represent influence in the different political arenas of the world. And we're also, these discs represent the basically nuclear power something, yeah, of our stuff. Your black disc, this is the round marker.
All right.
The game is played over 3 rounds. We're gonna play 4 cards each round. So yeah.
One of the discs are the DEFCON track represents how close we are to nuclear war and the game ending. So those discs are sort of how fraught each one of these areas that we can have tension over is.
And you can't see it on the stream, but on the nuclear board, there are little symbols to show what everybody starts with. You're going to have 3 extra cubes, and honestly, at the moment, I can't remember why.
3 extra discs.
Oh, no, they're just extras. We had that problem last time. You get, like, twice as many discs as you need. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. So, then, whoever is playing the USS is going to get the personal letter card, which is written in Russian?
Wait, the US? Or the USSR?
The US. I don't know what it's written in, but it's a personal letter card, and it's basically like a I'm awesome card. So there's that. Then you have 13 agenda cards, which have the,
Russian.
like, vanilla envelope kind of color, and then you have the main deck, which is where a lot of our cards are going to come from. Every player should have 17 wooden cubes, including what is already on the board. These cubes are limited, so during the game, if you need more, you have to figure out a way to get more.
Like buy another copy?
Not actually how you do that. Do we not have an accurate number of cubes? We do. Okay, cool. I just couldn't math right.
Mathing is hard.
So let's talk about this board and how we play this game. So we are going to play, like I said, over 3 rounds, and during each round, each of us is going to play 4 of these cards. These cards we can play in one of 2 ways. We can either play the card as an event, so we do what the text says, or we can play it as a command. I'll talk about command first because it's the simplest. Actually, first, at the beginning of every round, every player is going to get 3 of these agenda cards. We're going to look at them, and then we're going to take our flags and put them in the corresponding part of the world. So this one is political Deftron track, so I put a flag there to say I could be working on that. This one is world opinion, and it's specifically the world opinion DEFCON track, so it's there. And then I'm also hanging out in Cuba. So I put my flag in all of the locations where I drew these agenda cards, and then I secretly pick one and I tuck it under the side of the board, and the other ones get discarded and put at the bottom of the deck. The reason this is important is Steve now knows that I am doing one of these 3 things where my flags are, and so the cards that I play during this round will be trying to gain dominance and influence in the various regions.
And probably the one you picked, but I don't know which one you picked yet.
Yeah, so Steve doesn't know which one I picked, so he's kind of guessing, and I have to play cards in such a way that it won't give away what I'm trying to do, and thus he'll be like, oh, you're doing this! So yeah. So...
Do I have to do that voice?
Yeah, you have to do that voice, exactly. So now let's talk about these cards. So on your turn, you will have a hand of 5 cards. You get 5 new cards at the beginning of the round. And you can play the card as either a command or you can play the card as an event. If you play the card as a command, all you really care about is the cubes on the side of the card right there. And they're white cubes because any player can play them. So what you're going to do is you're going to play the card, and then you can either add or remove that number of up to that number of cubes from one influence area in the world. So I played this one, and it has 3, so I could be like, I'm going to play 3 cubes to... I can't remember if you can split them or not. Do you remember if you can split them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a single battle. You can't.
Oh, you cannot.
You cannot unless you have an event. So I have to play 3 cubes in the same area.
Or remove 3.
Or remove up to 3 from the same area. So I would be like, oh, well, Steve thinks I'm in Cuba, so I'll go there. So I'm going to add all 3 cubes. When you add command cubes to a region, you increase the DEFCON track associated with that region. So orange regions are military, so I would increase my DEFCON track. The first one's free, it's just like crack. And then I have to increase 1 per every additional cube. So this one's free, and then I have to go up 2 more, so I'm there. So that's the command thing. The DEFCON track, there are 3 areas. There's DEFCON 3, DEFCON 2, which has the whole bunch of nuclear symbols, and then DEFCON 1. If at the end of a round, one player has all 3 of their DEFCON discs in DEFCON 2, they lose, game ends, nuclear war. Or if one player has 1 cube in the DEFCON 1 region, they lose, game over, nuclear war.
Or disc, but yeah.
Disc, sorry. So you can have your discs go up during a round, but you need to make sure that they go back down before the end of the round, otherwise you're going to lose, and everyone on the planet will die. Well, eventually.
Yep. And it'll be your fault.
It will be entirely your fault. So that's how you play commands. It's important to know that if you play a card for command, if you play a card that is of your country or of the UN, which is gray, you just play the command and it's not a deal. However, if you want to play a command card of the country of your opponent, first you hand the card to your opponent, they decide if they want to do the event on your turn, and if they do the event, great. If they don't do the event, okay, whatever. But after they decide if they want to do the event or not, they do the event if they want to do it, and then they give you back the card, and then you play it for the command cubes like you would normally. So you have to be mindful of what cards you are playing for command, because it might tip the scales or force your opponent, depending, to do stuff that you want them to do and they might not want you to do. So there's that. So you can play for command. Da-da-da. The other thing that you can do on your turn is you can play cards that are of your country or of the UN, and you just do the event, so you just do what they say. And that's really straightforward. Certain cards have the DEFCON symbol on them, and if they have the DEFCON symbol on them, they will tell you, they affect the DEFCON in some way, and they'll tell you how in the text. So yeah, that's how you play. At the end of a round, we will reveal which agendas... Oh, sorry. At the end of the round, before we reveal the agendas, everybody will have one card that they didn't play. We take that card, we tuck it down in the aftermath. At the end of the game, we take out all the aftermath cards, we look at them, and we count up the number of country cards there are with cubes, and the player with the most cubes, or the country with the most cubes, gets a bonus 2 points. So you want to try and save stuff. Also, good night, Eric, and hi, Mad Bona. So yeah, you have to realize that you're gonna not play one of these cards, and you probably don't want it to be your opponent's card. Because
and the plus or minus 2 points, this only goes from like 5 in either direction, right?
Prestige?
Prestige, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's in-game plus 2 points.
That's what I mean, but it's like, our score is gonna be, like, this is the score, right? Prestige.
Yes.
So, like, 2 points is a big swing.
Yeah. So that's that, and then we'll resolve the agenda cards. If you achieve your agenda, you get whatever it says. Usually it's the difference. And then there are some regions that will give you bonuses. So, for example, Berlin, you'll get +1 bonus for controlling Berlin. United Nations, you'll get 2 if you have that. DEFCON track, you'll get 1 plus whatever your difference is. So, yeah. And you just swing that on the prestige track in one direction or another. And then, yeah, then you deal out more cards and play another round. Agendas that have already been played during a game are removed from the game, but agendas that you discarded are actually put back into play. So there's the chance that you could not play an agenda and then your opponent plays it later because you shuffle them all up.
And I think if I remember correctly, based on the agenda deck has 1 each of the zones on the board, but then 2 each of the DEFCON ones. Mm-hmm. Something like that. So if Tiffany has already done an agenda for Cuba military, I know that it's not going to come up again.
Yeah.
If it was chosen. If it was discarded, it could come up again. So you can do a little bit of card counting. There's
a little bit of card counting in this, but it's an interesting one in that you're trying to figure out what your opponent is essentially bluffing for. Yeah. When they do stuff. All right, the personal letter. So the personal letter, whenever you play a command card, you can also decide to use the personal letter, which increases the number of influence cubes by 1, and then you hand the personal letter to your opponent, and so now they get to use it.
It's the China card.
Essentially, yeah. If you have, or the other way to get the personal letter is if at the end of the round you have control over the United Nations, you get the personal letter. So, yeah. Woo! Alright, let's do this.
So one thing that I was wondering when we first played is why Turkey and Italy were important. It's one of the things I read in the historical guide. Turkey and Italy were both spots that America had placed Jupiter missiles, which were basically the counterparts to the missiles that that the Soviet Union put in Cuba. So one of the ways that it got diffused was that I think the U.S. agreed to remove its missiles from Turkey. So Turkey and Italy seem random, but it's because we had missiles there too.
Did you not go over the Cuban Missile Crisis when you were in high school?
I mean, we did,
college or something. But
in high school sometime, but
you just don't remember it. Maybe
not all the details.
We really focused on it.
Yeah, no, it was like footnote kind of.
Oh wow!
Like I read other stuff about it when I was a kid. Like I probably learned more about it not in school than I did in school.
Makes sense. I also was a giant history nerd. I did a double major in history and computer science, so that could be why.
Well, and when you get the kid glove treatment of the Cuban Missile Crisis, you don't get as much of the whole American advisors really wanting to start World War III as much.
Yeah.
It's very much, America good,
that's
Soviets
true.
bad.
I went to a different high school. It was basically a private school, and the curriculum was actually Swedish. So
oh, well.
That could explain a lot, yeah. Joanna says that, she didn't go over it in school at all. And Doug says that he remembers the actual crisis, which is cool. Yeah. Whoa! Hey! What was that about? What was that about?
I might need to confiscate that.
Yeah. Or the other one. And give it to... I don't really know what happened.
Ichi, drop it.
Ichi stole a Chewy from Xena very, very rudely. So I think neither of them gets Chewies now? Yeah. Way to ruin it for everyone, dog.
Yep.
Way to ruin it for everyone. Okay, so we each have 3 agendas, and I'm pretty sure we get the agendas before we get the cards. Let me double check. Yes.
Yeah, Ichi, that's why we can't have nice things.
It's entirely true. Okay, cool. So step 1 of a round is to raise the DEFCON on all of the tracks, which just happens. And now we are going to pick an agenda, and then after we pick the agenda, we get our cards. So
do we have to put our flags down?
We do have to put our flags down. You shuffled these,
who
right?
shuffled these?
All right. Craving. So this is an interesting one. The Atlantic Cuba and the 2 Cubas, they all boost each other. So if you have dominance in one area, you'll get a bonus for dominance in other areas. If you happen to be going for dominance in that area, which is not something I'm going for. Why would you think that? I'm just bringing it up for their purposes.
By the way, one thing that's interesting is that we can't actually go eyeball to eyeball with our glasses on because we'll have glasses in the way.
It protects our eyeballs.
From going eyeball to eyeball. There's always a minimum level of distance.
Okay. And now we each get 5 cards. And remember the last one we are not going to play. But we don't do the hand swappy thing, so that's nice.
Hand swappy thing?
Well, some games you play one and then you swap your hands. Essentially drafting. Whew! Oh yeah, so UN cards, I didn't show them beforehand because I didn't have one in my example hand. But UN cards are just gray. So, yeah. I can totally see your hand. I'll keep the camera that way.
I'm going to hold the cards close to my face. Who goes first?
Right. So the who goes first is determined by where people are on the prestige track, but the USSR starts the game, and the USSR picks who goes first. So you pick who has the initiative. The player who is losing gets to decide who goes first.
Who is losing?
You are, because you're Russia.
What? Wow, them's fighting words. Technically, I'm the Soviet Union. Oof. I'm gonna play a UN card. Uthant.
It's because we were allies
UN
with them,
Secretary General. And I'm gonna deflate all my DEF contracts by 1 step.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Unlike you.
Wow, he's a dick.
Hey, I don't go around calling myself greatest country in the world.
Oh my god, I do that, don't I?
Yeah, you totally do.
Oh god. Can I play the USSR?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a little, presumptuous. Like, there's a bunch of other countries too. Maybe we could do like a rotating thing. You can be best, then I can be better.
Alright, I'm gonna do To the Brink. All of your command actions have -1 influence cube for this round. To a minimum of 1 influence cube.
Alright, well, I'm going to do the Berlin blockade.
As the event?
As the event. Okay. So, Berlin blockade, USSR gains 2 prestige. Then the US player may escalate or deflate a USSR DEF contract by up to 2 steps.
Oh, wow. I like how I just get to pick that.
Mm-hmm. And by up to 2 steps.
Wow. Well, I think I'll push you to there.
Mm-hmm. Because I get points for being higher, don't I?
What? Only if you have that. Which I'll have you notice that you don't. And I'm like, I'll do that. So you will be left guessing as to what I'm trying to do. Mm-hmm. Dun dun dun! Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm gonna play Fidel Castro. Place up to 3 influence cubes in total on one or both Cuba backgrounds. Well, no, you get to do that. But I would then get to do the thing. Joanna asks, well, she wonders if the game was designed with themes or mechanics first. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was or if it was.
It was
theme.
Probably theme first.
They probably wanted to make a lighter Twilight Imperium.
Twilight Struggle.
That one.
Eclipse
you know what?
Is a lighter Twilight Imperium.
Are you gonna do this?
Oh, I can. Oh, because it's.
Yeah. So my nieces are like massive fans of My Little Pony, and so we.
Does this? No, that's command actions. So.
Twilight Sparkle, and I called her Twilight Struggle once, and it was So you're gonna up the track by 2 on that.
By me? Oh, by 2.
But you can't do that one because it's not Cuba. It's specifically Cuba. Yeah. So you're going to up the DEFCON on politics.
2, because I did.
No, because you did 1 cube here, and so that's free. And then 1 cube here, and then 1 there. Yeah, so only 1. 1 in the green. Yes, my plan is working. Okay, cool. And then I get to do 3 cubes, and I'm just going to be like, boom, boom, in the Atlantic. And then I go up 2. There's something in the trash that Xena wants. She was smelling it. Mighty cute bike. Hi. Oh, hi. Hello, you're Xena. You are. Cutest Xena. Oh, wow.
Okay, well, I'm going to play XCOM, which is the executive committee that was trying to figure this whole thing out that the U.S. had. You may place up to 4 influence cubes in total on battlegrounds where the U.S. player currently has no influence cubes, max 2 per.
Oh,
It'll make
interesting.
the DEFCON track go up.
Well, no, it just my cubes will affect DEFCON.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So cool. So I'll do there for 1, and I'll do. Oh, you do have a thing there. Push it to the brink. To the brink, which is a card that I played on you.
So you just went up by 2?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that's only 2 cubes. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that. Da-da, 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 da-da. Okay. I'm going to scramble. Place 1 influence cube on each of up to 3 different battlegrounds. So 1 there, 1 there, and I'll do 1 there.
I'll do public protests. You may remove any number of U.S. cubes from one battleground.
I think I'm good right now, actually.
So yeah. So apparently, public protests were used as a cover to be like, oh, we're just doing stuff because of the protests, but it was a way to de-escalate without taking blame for it. Just be like, oh yeah, it's totally the protesters that want this. Yeah.
Not surprised.
So you're good?
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna drop a couple in Berlin.
You only get 2.
I know.
Okay, so you go up 1. Da-da, da-da. Aww. Well, I could push us into nuclear war. That's fine. Oh,
wouldn't be the
crud.
first time.
I forgot a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Truck. Ducks and trucks, man. Ducks and trucks. I'm gonna do the Guns of August as the
event.
And I'm going to remove. Actually, no. I'm going to do it as the command. So I'm going to remove 3 from here. Yeah. And so I go down 2. And now it's your turn.
Oh, because Atlantic is military. Well, that's end, right? Because they have 1 card left.
Did you start?
Yeah.
Oh! Yes, that is end. Okay, so we both take these cards, we don't reveal them, and we put them under the aftermath. And then we resolve our agendas.
We do the world opinion bonus first.
Oh yeah, we do the world opinion bonus, and I get the television bonus. So I get to plus or minus 1 DEFCON track. And actually I need to check something because I can't remember.
It's interesting because you'll get the agenda cards will give you points for having like a difference in score from your opponent, but being too high in the DEFCON tracks could lead to you losing / the world ending and fiery everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna move. I'm going to inflate this DEFCON track there. Yeah.
Okay. Now we do agendas.
Now we do agendas. Boom! So I had the military one, and you had Berlin, which was pretty obvious at the end of that round.
That was pretty obvious that I had Berlin.
Yeah. So I escalate all DEFCON markers in the military by 1 step. So if I hadn't have gone down,
wow,
yeah, it would have been nuclear war.
Wow. That's Hair trigger.
Woohoo! So, dominating player receives prestige equal to difference in DEFCON steps plus 1. So I get 2 points.
And then I get prestige equal to the difference in influence cubes plus 1. So I'll get 3 because it's 5 to 3.
Yeah. So the USSR is currently winning. Oy. So, we take all the other cards that we had played, and they're just out of the game.
Goodbye cards.
And then we get...
3 new agendas.
Oh, nope. We escalate all DEFCON tracks.
Oh, wow.
Which means I'm now, like, banking for nuclear war. We take back our prestige.
I mean, it's probably just a bluff.
Okay, and then we get new agendas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Do you want to watch War Games after this?
I think we said that while we were playing this the first time, which is a great time to ask. So Joanna wants to know, how many times do we play a game before we are willing to live stream it? And it really depends on the game. If it's a more complicated game, I want to have played it at least once so I can comfortably teach the rules live on camera, because I've gotten the rules wrong a few times on games. And then if it's a smaller game, I know the rules beforehand, but if it's like a smaller, simpler game, we'll play them for the first time live on the stream. Like we've played... What have we played for the first time on the stream? Maybe we haven't done that.
No, we've totally played some games for the first time on the stream.
You have played a bunch for the first time on the stream. I guess my first play of Terraforming Mars was live on the stream, but I had like taught it to 3 people at that point because I had run an event. Oh, Great Western Trail.
Yep.
But John had played that. There's always somebody that we've always had one player that's at least played it once or is super familiar with the rules, so, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you played Maduris before, because my first play of Maduris was on stream.
Mm-hmm. So, Turkey, Cuba, and World Opinion DEFCON.
I have a question.
Okay. Oof. Oof, oof, oof.
Okay, there's a thing that calls it out. I have... One of the cards I have is the personal letter, and it says...
You take it from me.
But it says place it on the UN battleground.
Yes. And then Jeff Hayward asks, Steve and Tiff... Are you going to pick one?
Oh.
Steve and Tiff, is Cottage Garden a top game of the year for you?
I've been wanting to play it more.
I don't think it makes the top 10 for me. I was actually trying to think what the top game of the year was for me, and it's really tough because I've played so many awesome games. But I like Feast for Odin like significantly more than Cottage Garden.
I think I've definitely been in the mood to play Cottage Garden, and I've definitely been wanting to play it. Just in the sense of wanting to play something kind of relaxing as opposed to...
It's actually really funny because it's sitting like right there. Anyway.
Yeah, because I've only played it, I think, twice, so I've been wanting to play it more.
I think I've only played it twice as well.
I don't know if I could say it's top yet because I haven't played it enough. But then again, I've only played Feast a couple times, and that's definitely top for me.
Yeah, like Feast is top. I really like Steve loves Fuji Flush. Great Western Trail I really enjoyed. Maduris, I really like Maduris. Cry Havoc's up there for me, which is funny because it's not a game that I would normally pick. It's not new this year, but we played it for the first time this year, which was Tikal, and that was like super awesome, and we loved that. Honshu.
Oh yeah,
this year.
Honshu's in my like top Top. Honshu is
Castles of Burgundy, the card game. Yeah.
Yeah, Honshu is definitely close to my top, I think. Like, without question.
Yeah, I think Terraforming Mars has kind of been bumped out because I've only played it once, but I've taught it like 4 or 5 times now. And I don't know what it is. It's like, it's less interesting to me now, having like helped so many people play it, and like, I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't like the deck. There's so many cards, and what you can do is really depending on the cards that you get and like balancing it with resources and locations in the map. And so the replayability is in the deck, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that necessarily.
Yeah, you tend not to like deck-driven strategies or strategies that are driven by your hand if you're not also
able to like severely
mitigate and build it.
Okay, anyway.
Speaking of random games, though, I would say...
I decide who goes first. And I decide that you go first.
Coffee Roaster I would put as one of my top, just because it was very
surprising. Yeah!
Like,
Coffee Roaster!
It's a solo game that we basically just play co-op.
I don't like co-op games, like, at all. And I like Coffee Roaster co-op.
Because there's no turn sequence getting in the way of your alpha gaming.
Yes. In reviews, when I'm like, watch for the alpha gamer, I just mean me.
You need to get you that shirt that just says,
I'm the alpha gamer.
Or watch for the alpha gamer.
I also really like King Domino. It's really tough because I played a bunch of stuff earlier in the year, and I'm trying to remember what I played this year. It's been such a crazy year for us. I think we played Il Vicio this year. Love Il Vicio.
Wow. I'm sorry about your spy plane.
What'd you do?
It's taking a rest.
Oh, okay.
Place up to 2 influence cubes on the Turkey battleground.
Great.
Remove half the U.S. influence cubes from 1 cube of battleground, rounded up.
Great. Okay.
That's a good plan for you. The USSR responded to continued reconnaissance overflights by shooting down a U-2 aircraft over Cuba. And actually, the book mentions it was like a trigger-happy, like Soviet officer. Like Khrushchev did not want things to be shot down, but the person there was just like,
"I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna shoot it."
You don't affect the DEFCON track when you do that?
No, I guess I don't, because there's no DEFCON symbol, yeah.
Well, I'm still set to kill us all, so... I don't even remember what I went for, because we've, like, been talking so much. Okay.
Just like the real crisis.
Oh, interesting. Cool. I'm gonna play this one as a command. Which is if the USSR military DEFCON track is in the DEFCON 3 area, which it is not, so you don't even get to do it.
Oh, smart play.
Yep. But I get to take 2 cubes and do what I want with them. So I will place 2 of them here. And I'll use the personal letter to... Oh my god, Tiffany, why do you do this? I won't do that. I'll move it up 1. Which means I'm triggering nuclear war 3 ways!
Well, 2 ways.
3. Or 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I have all 3 cubes at DEFCON 2 or above, and I have a cube in DEFCON 1. So, I'm gonna end us all, everyone! Gonna end it all.
I'm gonna make a speech to the nation.
Hang on, address the camera.
I'm gonna make a speech to the nation. We shall not fear the rain.
No, that's the wrong game.
Ah, dang it. Gas?
That's also wrong game. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to place up to 3 influence cubes in total on 1 or more world opinion battlegrounds. Max 2 per battleground. Actually,
Okay, well, you go up one.
no, I don't, because...
I would like to... we are not streaming on Thursday because we are going to a holiday party, my game store holiday party is that night. So we're not streaming on Thursday, and so the next stream will be Tuesday, and my mom will be here. So we're gonna stream with my mom, playing some fun games that my mom will like Fuji Flush, and probably Fold It, and some other like funish, partyish games that we got from Essen, because our Essen stack is still got a good amount of games to play from Essen. Okay, anyway, I don't want to give that to you. That's so tough.
Do you remember how the extra Aftermath card works?
Non-invasion pledge.
Whoa, wow,
remove
thanks.
up to 2
You're
USSR influence cubes
You're
from
the best.
Turkey.
You're the best.
Boop. Then escalate/deflate the U.S. political DEFCON track by up to 2 steps. Okay, one nuclear crisis is resolved on my end.
It's all about crises. Okay, so whoever wins this one, you look at the top card and decide to add it to Aftermath or discard it. So it's my turn.
Yeah. We did a big purge of games this weekend, and I can actually, there's gaps on the shelf, and it just makes me so happy. Happy Pigs was this year. Happy Pigs is awesome. So tough.
I think it's important to do some national liberation in Turkey.
You just really want Turkey, don't you?
Thanksgiving wasn't enough.
I love Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin's amazing.
Oh, Feast for Odin.
I have to. Alright, I'm gonna play offensive missiles.
You just did a non-invasion pledge.
As a command!
Now you're doing offensive missiles?
They're totally unrelated.
What, do they
one
have,
is invasion and one is missiles.
Are they missiles with, really bad caricatures on them? And mean words?
Yeah, that's why they're offensive. But
well,
I can't. I'm going to remove 2 cubes to go down 1. Actually, I'll give you the personal letter. You're gonna get it anyway, probably. To remove 3, so I can move this down 2. 1, 2. So I'm not facing another nuclear crisis next round.
Wait, how did you give me the personal letter?
That's just what the personal letter is.
To get an extra cube.
Yeah. I'm really getting excited about the fact that we don't have obligation. We're getting to the point where we're not feeling crazy obligated to play Essen games. Because we also realized there's been some comments on in the chat and just different places where these videos go up, where some of the games that we've streamed you can't get yet, and probably for a while. And so there's a couple games that we have left to stream that you just won't be able to get for quite a while. So we're probably just gonna put off streaming those until they become more available, or we have nothing really pressing that we want to stream. We just got the new 2nd edition of Robinson Crusoe, and we really want to stream that for you guys. But at the same point, there's other things that we're kind of obligated to stream, like this, which is still fun. But yeah, if we could, I would stream every night, probably.
I probably would too.
Yeah.
Speaking of streaming every night, I'm going to tip the strategic balance. And I'm going to use it for the command.
Okay.
Because otherwise I would also start nuclear war.
Woohoo!
And I am going to
tie me in television?
Yeah, I'm going to tie you in television. Which is going to make the...
No.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
It does not.
Oh my god, this game. Berlin.
Actually, I'm going to make a little wall.
That's super
What? What?
That's super bad. Don't do that.
No, it was during... It's historical.
Your mom's historical.
I mean, yes.
I really want to play that, but I don't want to play that. So it's like this.
I think this game would break my brain if you could hold cards over to the next turn.
So Robinson Crusoe, really quickly, Mad Bona 1, you can actually just get the rules download from the second edition and, like, just online and see if, I think it translates still really well. So you could use those with the current edition. There's changes, but, like, I think you can translate it.
Well, the main thing, just going through the new rulebook versus the old one, the new one is way, way easier to parse, and, like, the back third of it is, like, clarifications and facts and extra rules on cards. So those probably all still apply to stuff in the old edition. But yeah, the rules are probably the biggest part. Since I never played the old one, I don't know if there were like differences.
And I'm gonna do.
Whoa! Lessons of Munich.
Yeah. Because you can't do anything, so I'm gonna do.
Wow.
2, which means I'm there. Yeah. Cool. All
right.
Oh,
you don't have to play all of them. It's just up to.
Yeah. But I think I just won the game. Actually, maybe we'll see. We'll see if you can pull it off. But we tie here, so nothing happens. You win that, so you get an extra aftermath card. So he's gonna draw the top card from the deck and then decide if he wants to put it under there or not. He does not. Then I think you actually put it on the bottom of the deck if you don't want it.
Oh, it's at top of the discard.
Okay. And then I get to plus or minus 1 death contract, so I'm gonna push you into nuclear war.
I thought you were gonna move that one.
Why would I not do the thing?
I forgot about that. Oh my god.
Okay, so then we do the agendas. I'm world opinion.
Personal letter.
So well, you got it, basically.
I get 2 prestige.
Yeah. And then I get a lot, because, like...
It's difference plus 1?
Well, so we escalate all death contracts in this area, and then it's difference plus 1. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So I bring you here. But, more importantly, you cause nuclear war. And I win.
What if I tear down the wall? Would that be okay?
I guess you can see my arm twice right now. How we have the camera set up. That's pretty trippy.
That's the danger of being close to the brink.
So there we go. That's 13 days, and it's probably because like we were talking and chatting, and so thus he was not focusing on what was happening. But
I was just like, I'm fine. I'm in 2. But I did want to get, like, I wanted to get that, or tie you so you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then not thinking that you would use your last card to do that. But I was like, okay, I need to tie her so that she doesn't push me up. Because I thought you would need to push me up 2.
Nope. I just have to push you up 1.
And actually, funnily enough, pushing me up 1 there would have done it also, because you scored.
You would have had all 3.
I would have had all 3.
And I scored that world opinion 1. Yep. So you were a bit screwed on that round. Yeah, that's 13 days. We also didn't mention who it was designed by. It's designed by Daniel Peterson and Askier Sams Grand Rudd. I'm really sorry. So yeah, I like it. We got Twilight Struggle last year for Christmas from my mom, and we got the deluxe edition, and which like made me super happy. And we played like half of a game.
We played half a game
on Christmas Day, and then I passed the F out and slept for like 4 hours or something.
Which is longer than the game would have actually taken.
Yeah, and then we haven't played it since, and we liked it. We really did like it, but it's like it does what it says on the tin. It is Twilight Struggle, but faster
and with sudden death, as we showed in the stream. I guess also for the record, our last game didn't go to sudden death; it went to points.
Yeah.
And then interestingly, I can't remember how close it was, but I definitely lost more heavily based on the aftermath. Like, I don't think it was within 2 points, but...
This game, last game?
Last game.
Yes.
Like, I think I would have lost by a point anyway, but losing the aftermath pushed me 2 more points. So this game, I was like, I'm not going to lose aftermath. But maybe all have caused nuclear war. I don't know, it's nice, like, there's not a lot going on, but there's enough moving parts that you kind of have to balance everything. And the game's just like, yeah, the greater the difference between you and your opponent on the agenda cards, you get the difference in distance +1, but you also might trigger nuclear war. Like you do. Like you do when you don't pay attention.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in and watching this super short stream. Do you guys want to... We have another game already pulled out to stream and do a second bonus stream if y'all are interested. We have the time. This is Small Star Empires. And Steve, you just happened to like walk by and see this?
I saw it in a store in Frankfurt.
That's right.
And I was like, I'm interested in the box art because I'm a sucker for sci-fi stuff, but I couldn't tell enough about the gameplay from the back to know how it played.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it would be much more complicated than it was.
And there wasn't much on it on the internet because it had just come out, so their Kickstarter was there, which was all marketing stuff. So.
Yeah, or like I didn't see enough about it, but then some people were playing it at the hotel we were staying at, and I was like, oh, that was the game I was looking at and was interested in.
And you played it with them.
I think not that game, but I played another game with them, and it was just like, this is awesome. I forget what I compared it to, but...
It is Hey, That's My Fish, but...
In space.
In space, and instead of having to, like, set up the fish tiles at the start of the game, you basically do the opposite, where you have these ship tokens and colony tokens, and you are laying them out across space. So you're laying them out across the world. And you, like, build, like, hey, look, I built the board. Not really. But, yeah, so... I think we're going to play this. We're going to shut down the stream. You guys can just hang out right there. I'm just going to, like, update the Twitch and YouTube titles and then restart it with the title of this one. So, yeah, just hang out in the chats, and we'll be back.
Also, thank you, people that make games, for putting pencils in your boxes with
Seriously.
score pads. I think it was, like, No Siesta. I mean, No Siesta, everybody's scoring, but, like, No Siesta did it. This does it. Yeah. Thank you for pencils.
So this is essentially... We actually got rid of our copy of Hey, That's My Fish after I finally played this, because I was like, why would I play Hey, That's My Fish? Like, the setup on this is so much faster, and it's essentially a really similar game, except for it also comes with, like, a whole bunch of expansions and, like, different cool, fun things, like wormholes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's Hey, That's My Fish plus, like, expansions. Plus
bending space-time.
Which is super important. We're playing.
Oh, but I thought you were going to talk about the stream.
Yeah, but you can set up.
I mean,
Alright.
Here, you can set up.
No, I've got to do this. Okay, cool.
Alright.
We'll see you
See you in
guys
a
in
bit.
like 5